Hello and welcome to the Omega Republic, a radio podcast program for the furry and brony community. I am your host, Coppercat, once again joining you here. Also, joining me today is Morgan,
Hi.
and of course, our Mr. Tiberius.
Hi, where's the file?
Today, we also have DDT monitoring the audio for a short time.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us here on Suiting Up for Life, where we seek out those in the furry fandom and get to know what it's like to be a furry and or brony and what they do to make who they are a part of the community. Today, we have Mr. Dribi the Dragon joining us. Before we get started, we also like to mention that the charity of choosing today is Pause for Purple Hearts. Dribi, would you care to give a short description of that?
Yeah. So Pause for Purple Heart ends up giving money over to I can't talk. Giving veterans dogs to train, as well as after the dogs have been trained to be service dogs, they end up.
There's a max at 100. 100 isn't really anything to sneeze at.
Oh, 100's
That's
really
awesome.
good.
Thank you guys for doing that.
Thank
What's
you
on
for
the agenda
watching.
then?
1 second.
More reading?
Yep. 1 second. 1 second. I temporarily lost connection there.
Pass me the
Do
thing, the questions. I don't have them. Or, in
they're
fact,
in
they're all
the.
going to be the same.
They should be in voice posting.
Yes.
Oh, there they are.
Yes. Yep. Okay. I will. Let's see. Oh yeah. Well, thank you for watching and choosing the OR as your place of entertainment. Now let's get to know our friend with us today. Question 1. How long have you been part of the fandom and what brought you here?
I have no idea. I ended up just joining the fandom, I guess, because I think my coworker thought I was a brony because I was a horseback rider. And they ended up being right. So I used to do a lot of horseback riding, and I also watched My Little Pony. And so she was like, "Hey, I know this fandom called the Furry Fandom," and they're like, "Hey, you should check it out." And I ended up meeting more and more friends, and everyone was really nice to me, and it all went downhill from there. And now I really can't leave anymore because everyone's so awesome. But I really ended up. I think it's only been like 3 years now, but I've met so many people in that short time period that have been amazing.
Good. That seems to be the general consensus, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I
So
like it.
it's always a good time, no matter how long you spend. Both, but well, I guess they're both pretty welcoming communities when you think about it. Considering, although I suppose the furry fandom is more LGBT friendly, just because of well, it's a bunch of factors, but when you take them into consideration, it's a lot more. Uh, well, like I said, it's a lot more friendly for those communities. It's a lot more welcoming. It's a lot more tolerant.
I think the Brony fandom's plenty tolerant.
Yeah, they can be, but I haven't really
Got a
had
lot of
much.
4chan.
Yeah,
That's
the
that's
I
just
mean
my
that's
advice in general.
yeah. I was about to say that it's a good place to avoid.
It's sort of like saying, "Oh boy, I love this city. Just stay out of the stinky part of the city." It's like, yeah, don't go to the waste dump of the city or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you need any more help, just ping me. I got stuff to do.
Okay, you go
Woohoo!
do your thing.
Alrighty.
Question
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you contribute towards? What do you do in the fandom? I guess would be a better way to put it.
What do I do? I just kind of run around everywhere pretending like I know what I'm doing. That's kind of what ended up getting me into suiting. Is my first con, not my first con, my first con was Denver, and Denver was really fun. I didn't have a suit then, but I really ended up by that point. Um, excuse me.
That's your first one. How many other
That,
ones have you been going to? Or is that the only one so far?
that was the first one. So I apologize. There's a lot of echo on my end.
It's fine.
But there ended up being after that con, I did MFF for the first time ever, and MFF was, oh man, I think I've been to 10 so far.
10. Well, that's quite the
Yeah,
pedigree.
yeah, I ended
Yeah.
up kind of jumping headfirst fan into the fandom, and you'll see me oftentimes just running around at cons saying hi to literally everyone I can, just because they're so awesome. Because I love performing in fursuit and kind of really see it as another way to not only to express myself, but I view it as kind of an art form. I used to do a little bit of theater, and I kind of incorporate that into my fursuiting.
Right. Well, that's a good way to make it. Well, fucking stream. That's a good way to kind of expand, or don't know how to say it, to put your knowledge into your suiting. To better way to create the character that you've made for yourself.
Yeah, it's I love the character that I ended up creating. I created it with one of my best friends helped me come up with the concept art and doing different. There actually is a huge backstory made for Dribi, and I have absolutely no idea where it went. So Dribi just doesn't have a backstory anymore.
Well, all right then. Yeah, characters can kind of go out there, especially when you have them for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Pulse of Purple doesn't really name. I'll do the next question. Question 3. It says Brownlee only guest skip, but I mean there are you can kind of suit in a furry costume, a pony costume. Although it's pretty uncommon to see an OC suit, but I digress. Yeah, obviously you are a suitor because you mentioned it. Who made your suit? And if so, how long did it take?
Lenny Futato, and I think she hated me because my back marking, I think, took her alone 4 hours. The heartbeat line that I have, and just because it had to be all hand sewn, because there was a bunch of
Oh,
back and
jeez.
forth, back and forth. Yeah, but we're good friends now. But I think it took her probably at least 50 hours, and she actually ended up. If you look at old photos of Dribi at the MFF, not 2019 but 2018, which was my first
Yep.
MFF. That one I'm wearing the old Dribi that was really heavy and it didn't look quite as good. But the new Dribi head that Lenny Futato did, she was super nice to make me another one. She did an excellent job on that one.
The head, you said, so you'd had different iterations of just the head.
Just the head.
You had it remade then. It was the 50. You said 50 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that over the course? Do you know how long that was over the course of, or was it kind of in a row, more or less?
It was all I don't even know how she ended up getting it done because she really rushed it for MFF to get that out to me, which I was very grateful for. But
Probably more the former.
yeah, so probably more. It was sporadic and then just all together really fast.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the maker.
It really does.
Yeah, there's a picture there. Actually, it's on, it should be on the stream, isn't it? Well, not
Yeah,
the suit head
probably.
itself, but the actual. Well, not the suit head itself, but the art. He's real cute. He's got the horns and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that suit. It's really cute.
It is a really cute. I think that might be it. What species is he specifically, or is he just kind of dragon miscellaneous?
I like to call him a Magan. I don't know
A
whether or not I'm
Magan.
gonna keep that, but kind of a pretty much a mutt dragon.
Mutt dragon.
So
Okay.
yeah. So a mutt, kind of any sort of dog fit into one dog, and a
Oh, okay. I
dragon.
see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, just kind of miscellaneous breed dragon.
Yep.
You do see a lot of people making furred or haired dragons rather than strictly scales. Although I suppose it's more of an Eastern thing than a Western thing.
I think it's honestly just a lot easier.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
because
scales are harder.
yeah, you probably did. You probably saw like on Imgur or whatever, on Twitter or somewhere, made a scale suit or suit arm out of pure scales, and it didn't actually look great. So the general
Yeah.
consensus is that people just make them out of fur.
Yeah. My girlfriend's actually a maker, Coffee Fox, and
Okay,
she'll kill me for saying this, but it is a lot easier to hide a seam in fur than it is anything else.
that too. Yes.
I could believe that.
So there's a lot more forgivingness within sewing fur
Yeah.
than sewing anything else. Granted, sewing fur is super difficult and annoying and frustrating, but your seam doesn't have to look so pretty.
There's no simple solution, is there?
There never is.
Always a pain in the backside. Is there any particular inspiration that you got from him? His design or his colors or anything? Or is it just kind of, I like this color, I'll put it on?
So there's a Netflix series. I don't know how many people actually, not Netflix series. Disney. What was it? Jetix. I don't know if you guys have watched the old Jetix.
Jet X? I don't
Yeah,
believe I have.
like Jet and then dash X. It was on when I was a little kid. It's now Disney XD.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
the channel.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I
Yep.
see.
Yep. Yep. And so there's a show on it. It unfortunately got canceled called Dragon Booster, and that's where I ended up getting my inspiration from Bo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then the heartbeat line in my suit, which I
Or the
found out
back.
recently. Yeah, the back of it, which none of the photos end up getting, but there's like a heartbeat line in the back. I just kind of chose any sort of heartbeat line that I saw. And I have a friend who's a vet tech, and and they recently told me at the last MFF, um, what they tell me? They said it was cardiac arrest is what my back, the symbol means on the back.
Well, alright then.
I was like, all right, well, I guess live every moment like it's your greatest is what my
Live every
back now
moment like
means.
you're about to die.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. I think that might be it. We can move on to the next question.
Woohoo!
Question 4.
Yep.
Copper, do you want to?
Yep, I will take that one. Based on your choice of Sona, do you feel it represents your personality, or do you want to be more like it emotionally? Is there anything you feel like sharing from your real life that you also incorporated into your Sona?
Not one bit. Which I think is
Really?
actually a lot. Yeah, I think it's actually a lot different than most people. I think a lot of it just kind of expresses underlying tones of I like to make people happy. I like to see them smile. But as an actual character, I would say it's. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a representation of me. I think it's really maybe in the beginning it used to be, but I've developed Dribi in such a way that Dribi is now a character of mine. It's when I put on Dribi, I put on a character. I put on somebody who's acts a certain way, who acts different and exciting. Because if you ever see me running around at cons, I will never stop going. I will keep on moving, and I will be extremely hyper running everywhere.
So he's more of a disconnect to you than he is a part of you.
Yeah.
He's just a character and nothing else. He's no really connected to you
I
in,
mean,
in too much of a way.
he still has a big like connection. Like in a sense, it's. I mean, it makes me smile. It makes me happy to be able to do this and really put on another character. So there still is a big connection,
Yeah,
but it's not like
yeah, but
this is who I am.
it's not. Oh, it's me, but it's a furry. You know,
Yeah.
it's not. It's something you identify as. Something you do.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's sorry. It's a kind of a disconnect to some what people do because a lot of people that you see really identify with their persona and make it a part of them, which is it's a natural thing to do. It's something it's a part of you in one way or another. But sometimes people just disconnect from it completely and just have it be as a separate character to them, especially if they do go for suiting. Go ahead, Morgan.
Oh, I was gonna say it's also kind of understandable to have a character that's not fully connected to you, because sometimes it's just kind of
Yeah,
fun to create an alternate personality.
be someone else for a bit.
Yeah. So I guess we'll move on to the next question. Being a furry walking among society, do you feel more or less alone than before you became what you are?
I definitely feel a lot less alone with the fandom now because I've met so many people and honestly a good chunk of my friends within the fandom. I used to be. I mean, I was the kid who sat alone at lunch every single day during school, and that was just something I went through, and I really didn't hang out with anybody until I really met more furries and they kind of brought me out of my own little social isolation that I put myself in, even what we're supposed to be doing all now. But yeah, it's definitely made me feel a lot less alone in general.
Yeah, if you spend a lot of time with people who like to have you around, it's a natural feeling. It's a great feeling too.
It really is, and you're like, whoa, this is what it feels like to be liked.
Especially when you kind of go out of the way to socialize as much as you can in a way that doesn't really restrict it kind of in a way your social barriers apart from the obvious, but you don't have to worry about, oh, what if this person sees me? What if this person knows who I am? Or I'm gonna be so embarrassed. These people know who I am. Like, no, you can be as silly as you want because you're in a costume. No one knows your face most of the time.
Oh, it's great. And I suited around college for a little bit, and I think
Nice.
some people. The funny thing is, some people were very concerned that they didn't know who was in the suit.
That's a little funny.
Oh, it was. I had a kick out of it, and then I told them, and they're like, "Wait, what? You're the furry?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the furry."
Nice.
I remember you mentioned that you've been to quite a few cons. I think it was 10. Do you have any like close friends you made there, or friends you normally go to cons with?
Oh my goodness, so many now. Flitch, Flitch and his boyfriend Cobalt, as well as Remy, who lives over in Australia. We all became really close the last MFF, and I'm actually planning on rooming with B-Boy Flitch again at at Denver just because I mean he's such a cool guy to hang out with, and he's actually one of my dance idols because that's another big thing I do within the fandom is dancing, and he's always kind of been an idol that I've looked up to and has always encouraged me to do my best. And I mean, so many other people. I mean, I met my girlfriend through the fandom who was absolutely amazing. And who else have I met? Who haven't I met? I feel like I've run around. One of my first friends that I made in the first MFF that I went to was Queenie, Deerheart, and Mobius, and they were two people who kind of brought me in and kind of were really nice to me at my first big con when I was really nervous, and now even staff. How many? I staff for 3 cons right now, and last year I staffed for four or 5 cons.
Wow.
Nice.
So you know your way around, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Too much now.
Quite a bit of mileage on that suit. Definitely
You
not
know,
a bad thing.
not as much as you would think. I've
Oh,
definitely traveled.
you don't
I
spend as much
mainly wear my
time in
suit
the
as
actual.
cons.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
But
I
I mean,
don't really suit at home. But
yeah, well, obviously not. But 10 cons is still. It's still 10 cons.
it still is 10 cons, yeah. But I clean Dribi all the time and keep them nice and fresh.
Oh yeah, you got to keep the suit fresh. Well, the suit fresh as well as keep things fresh.
Yes. No
Well, since
stinky, unbrushed suits.
oh no, you know the controversy. You know the stigma. But moving swiftly on, since we're still on the topic about you suiting, what was the most difficult thing about first starting to suit, and what really made you decide that you wanted to suit in the first place?
I mean, who doesn't want to dress up like a giant fluffy animal and run around all over the place without anybody knowing who you are?
That's true.
And
Fair.
and that's really fun to me. And then it's really cool, just like taking off the suit. And there'll be times I'll just not have my badges on, and I'll run around the con again as just me. And I'll say hi to people I said hi in suit. I've actually had somebody come up to me where my friend was wearing, or come up to my friend who was actually wearing Dribi, and they were like, "Hi, how are you, Dribi?" And they didn't realize I was Dribi at all, so they were having a conversation with my friend. And, they were Dribi, so we were laughing right afterwards. But I, I don't know. I guess just making people smile and being able to take on another character and a bit of acting. Like I said, I did theater, so it's a nice outlet to get that out and get all the energy there too. I think the hardest thing shooting wise, starting to get into it was really pacing. A lot of it's really easy to forget to take care of yourself
Oh
and
yeah.
overshoot. Yeah, and I've had Mobius who's now a good friend of mine actually like gave I gave him a hug, and he pretty much was like, "You're going up to your room right now. You are dehydrated and probably going to pass out soon. So this is how you should properly take off your suit so your body doesn't go into shock." And I was like, "Okay." And he's an EMT, so I'm going to assume he knows his stuff.
And he just knew from you hugging him.
Yep, that was
Yikes.
hot.
It's a good friend.
Oh,
He's a
it's a
great
pretty good
friend.
friend. That's why it's always a good idea to have a canteen wherever you go.
It really is.
A canteen, but like a proper, if you can, a military canteen, because those are for sale too. You can get them on Amazon for relatively cheap. It's almost 2 liters right there. It's a good thing to have.
We have Nalgene's. Nalgene's a big one where I'm at, and the Nalgene's hold 2 liters and like clip to everything, and they're so nice. So indestructible too.
I have a hiking sack, like a bag canteen, which is 2 liters. It doesn't
Oh,
taste
those are
great, but
awesome. Yeah.
it holds a lot.
No, as I've done a few backpacking trips into like the forest, and we've had some bad water. Still was good for you, but didn't taste all that great.
Yeah, an aluminium one is also the best because the less you could, the more you can limit your exposure to plastic, the better it is. But it also does keep it
Definitely.
cold.
A lot better too.
Oh yeah, it tastes a lot better, a lot more fresh. Copper, do you want to do the next question? Ah, oh,
Of course.
yep.
Uh,
All right.
Now, this question really wasn't written down, but we'll ask it, and you feel free to answer if you choose to. Based on my experience that I met you at MFF this previous year, uh, what being a being part of the FurryCon crowd control, do you think you learned
Ugh.
anything special? Anything did you was there anything you was able to take from that experience to help you grow more in the fandom?
Screaming at people is the best way to communicate to them. No words, just screaming.
Ain't that the
Uh,
truth?
I mean, I don't know if this is a video that was posted somewhere. I forget. There's at one point while I was doing crowd control, it was the
Crowd
closing
control.
yeah. So because the lines get so long,
Yeah.
we're like
God.
snaking the lines back and forth, and so the lines sit right next to each other, and we have a piece of spike tape on the floor to separate the two lines. And so I'm going through, and somebody is sitting in the middle of both of them, and I'm like, you can't do that. And
Of
I was
course.
doing crowd control in suit, and so instead of saying anything, I
Oh.
just looked at them over and just screamed at them for about, I would say, probably 10 seconds until they noticed me and looked up and finally moved, and everybody was laughing there, laughing pretty good. But I think from from crowd control alone and just kind of working working stuffing other cons too is we're all here just to have fun, and I think a lot of staff also forget that is, yeah, we're here to put on a good con, but I think I think we lose our concept of we're also customer service and to make people feel good and happy, and I think that should be something cons shouldn't forget is cons are for us, not for anybody else. We're not ran by any big corporation. We're ran by the people, for the people, by the people. And I think that's something we should remember is everyone's on the
Mm-hmm.
same level.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that doesn't
Exactly.
change.
I agree.
Well, thank you. I think we learned what we needed to learn from that question. All right,
I
Morgan,
just
care
love
to
that you
take note?
screamed at.
Say again?
No, I was gonna say I just love
Yep.
that you screamed at someone until they moved. Just awesome.
Yeah, and I asked literally everybody for coffee, and someone finally handed me coffee, and it was
That's
All
probably
right,
an
you
all day job that. Well, throughout the thing of con, but you know what I
oh yeah, no,
you were saying,
coffee
Copper?
is lifeblood.
Yeah, it is. I'd die
Oh
without
yeah.
it.
About how long did you? What was uh? What was the length of your shifts roughly for
Oh
party? I
God,
mean, crowd control.
that's a good question. I think it depends on the shift, but it was normally at like 2 3 hour increments throughout like the day because I was only needed during high volume hours when we needed to actually control crowds. But yeah, most of the time I would say I'm not. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was probably 2-3 hours.
Mhm.
2-3
Couple
hours.
times
That's
a
not
day.
bad.
No, that's
No,
not bad.
and
But
you
keep
make
in
new
mind,
friends on staff.
yep. It also helps to keep in mind that, you know, these are people, including Dribi, volunteers that just, are just con goers, but at the same time, they volunteer their time to make the con even better for everyone else. So just try to remember them. I'm not talking to the people here, but to anyone who watches this, remember to have respect for the volunteers and people who sacrifice their time to be at the con to have fun, but also help you to have fun as well.
We love
Yeah.
all of you and want you to have fun. That's why we yell at you. And we want you to be safe and not die.
You yell at them so you can have fun faster.
Exactly.
You scream because you care.
You got it.
Oh, I know this is backtracking a little bit, but you forgot to mention your Motivational Mondays videos that you attempted to post on your YouTube channel.
I
Oh.
know. I'm so bad at posting. I enjoy doing my motivational Mondays, which is just like a nice little snippet of, hey, here's something to think about, here's something to work on, or here's something to make you smile. There's no really pattern, rule, or anything to it. It's just, hey, we're all in this together, and let's keep having fun.
Exactly.
And they will be coming back. Just physics and calculus take priority currently.
Oh god. No
What,
fun.
you don't want to learn about double integrals again?
No, I just don't want to learn about them. Period.
Same.
Anyways, I suppose we need to move on. Otherwise we might bore our poor guest here. Um, anyways, uh, Morgan, care to do question 7?
Sure.
Sieben.
During your day to day, since becoming part of the fandom, what are some things, excuse me, what are some things that you've started doing differently in your life, if anything?
I've really just learned to look on the upside and that it always gets better. Um, I think, which is kind of a sad lesson I've learned from the fandom, but I think it's important not to put your eggs in all, you know, bleh. I can't talk anymore apparently. But I think it's important to really diversify kind of friends and really getting to know people before anything else. I think I think that as just we as people and we as a individuals in a fandom could always benefit from just communicating more with each other, and I think that's one of the big things that I've taken away overall is a lot of things can be stopped with communication and just talking things out. Whatever drama it is, whatever happy stuff, bad stuff, it oftentimes can be solved with communication. And I think that's something that a lot more people need to kind of see too is, hey, just talk it out. Even if you're angry, you can take a step back, take a breather, and come back and still be friends. And I've actually lost a lot of friends and gained a lot of friends back because of that.
Wow. Yeah, communication is important in every aspect, not just a relationship.
It really is.
Talking is a big deal. Does anyone have anything else to add before we get to the last question?
nothing on my head at the moment,
No.
which says quite a
All
lot.
right. Sorry.
I said, which says quite a lot.
Yeah. I think we should give it a now. Move on to the last question. This one's all about bringing new people into the fandom, and what I should be asking really is that if there were someone that were curious about joining the fandom or joining a group or a chat or a
Run
website,
away. Run away as fast as you can.
is there any advice that you could give to someone, anything that you could be able to say to help them get settled in easier if they were thinking of joining a group or even, well, I suppose the best thing to do is if they were thinking of going to a convention, that'd be the best setting for them. Is there anything really that you might be able to do? Well, specifically referring to a convention, is there anything that you could tell them to help them make the experience go easier, since you have plenty of experience yourself?
Go alone.
Really?
It sounds absolutely just crazy, but I think the best friends that I've made were actually when I was running around the con alone. And
That is true. You do have a lot more freedom to mingle, don't you?
you do, and it's scary and you're vulnerable, and it's you learn to kind of there's a saying that I kind of try to live my life by is get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and I think that's one of the things that I ended up doing where I made a lot of friends, and that's how I met so many people who have become so close to me. And I think a big thing that people need to remember too when joining the fandom or going to conventions is you don't need a fursuit. The furry fandom is
Definitely
about
not.
3% fursuits, 97% everything else, and that everything else includes 50% of just the people, just the normal everyday people. So I think it's important to remember because oftentimes I see, well, I can't go to a convention because I don't have a fursuit. No, you need to go. They're fun.
I imagine they are. Everyone that I've heard go to a convention always said it when they come back. Always say that it's one of the best experiences they had.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
They really are. It makes me happy, and it's there's nothing better to like one of my favorite thing at conventions is being able to go to the dance comp and the floor wars and see everyone put in their performance that they've been working so hard on or really just trying their best. Like it was really fun being able to showcase this year at MFF. We almost made it. It was the Dancing Dinos, and with Night Dragon, Twilight Saint, and one other person. I feel really bad. I forget their name off the top of my head right now, but we almost made it into the floor wars. We just were one team behind that did ever so better than us, and they earned it. But that was one of the best experiences I've ever had at a con, as well as dancing on stage for the AnthroCon dance comp.
Dang, that's a big one.
That was fun.
Oh, I bet.
It was terrifying. So if anybody says we are really confident on stage and we look like we know what we're doing, we right before we go on stage we're like, why in the world am I doing this? This is terrifying. There are too many people here.
That's what the fursuit's for.
Stage fright is still a thing in fursuit, trust me.
It's everywhere.
It really is. It's fun.
Now, before we
Get
actually
comfortable
end,
with being uncomfortable.
oh yeah, there is actually one more question we have. That's from it's actually from the chat here, and it says what is something that you'd like to see in the fandom change towards a positive?
Ooh, I like that question. And I have a moment to think on that.
Yeah, sure.
Just a
I
small
suppose
moment.
I suppose it really means if there's anything you want to change in general, if there's anything you would change. There are I suppose if you do see it from a more critical perspective, there are a few things that you can go ahead and change, but these are the kind of the things that you can't really do much about. Is that it's kind of just how people are, really. These issues. Although of course you can just kind of tell people to say, use your common sense, or be a decent person, or don't do this and don't do that. But it won't always sink in for every single person you tell it to, and there'll be exceptions to that, no matter what you do. But it doesn't mean you can't really try and make a difference, is it?
No, I think if I had to pick just something to make the fandom a better place is
Lay it
just
on me.
that going back on communication and just everybody taking a moment to look inside themselves. And I think that's something we create new characters, and I think we maybe lose a little bit of ourselves when we forget that hey, we are still people. We're still trying to make friends, and everyone is their unique person. It doesn't matter whether or not you like them or get along with them. They're still going to be around, and I think we really need to learn to. Though we put a lot of times we put our differences aside, we really need to learn that hey, we're really all here to have fun, have a good time, and if you don't like somebody, if you break up with somebody, if you don't get along with somebody, it's not gonna really affect you. I mean, generally for the most part. So live and let live, and just I wish people would allow each other to be happy more. I think that's the main thing. Be happy more and be willing to communicate with each other.
So if anything, you'd wish people would talk more instead of just kind of dropping things and, well, dropping people and just going radio silent, not talking to anyone. Which
Yeah.
honestly, is a problem I see people having too. People don't talk enough.
No, they don't, and it's fun to talk with people. It's fun to interact with people. It's fun to just try to get to know people more, and it's something I love to do, and it's something that I think even in not a fun sense that hey, if you're mad at each other, you're arguing with each other, you can still talk it through, and it's important to still be understanding of differences as well.
A lot of people seem to forget that.
Yeah, I mean, we might be all part of one big community, but
It's
we
disappointing.
are all unique people. And that's amazing and beautiful, and I love it.
Hmm.
It is important, like you mentioned before, that we can't forget that we're all just people underneath all of the fursuits and the suit heads and the partials and all the dancing and the cuteness and the squeakers. We're all just regular people who want to have a good time, not characters. So if there's anything I should take away from that, is that treat everyone like you treat yourself and treat them like actual people and not characters or animals for that matter.
Exactly. But if I'm in character, please treat me like a character because I'm just a giant fluffy animal that looks stupid and is here to have fun.
But at the end of the day, you should still treat them with common decency.
Definitely. Once I get out of suit, or if I'm running to the fursuit lounge, please be nice. That's all I
Just be
ask.
nice.
Yeah.
Don't be awkward. Just be a decent person. Use your
Right?
common sense.
That's just a world thing. Please be a decent person.
I
Words to
don't
live
think you
by.
can. I don't think you can tell me not to be awkward.
Yes,
I
I
think
can.
awkward's
Just
awkward's
stop
my
being
default
awkward.
setting.
Stop it.
Stop it.
No.
That's
You'll
just
have to
what you
take that
do.
up with a manager.
Desk is filthy.
Oh, I mean, uh, I love it when people are willing to be awkward and own being awkward. I think that's nothing ever something people should be ashamed of or what their history is. I mean, we're all present day. We're all learning life, and everything constantly changes. I've had the most confident, nice, or I should say charming, not nice, charming people be the cruelest, and I've had the most awkward, kind of at first off-putting people be some of the nicest and best friends I've made. So I've seen both spectrums of it, and I think it's you just can't judge a book by its cover. That has stood the test of time.
Definitely not.
Would you say that you've inspired some people to overcome their social anxiety?
Yeah, I think at least one person. There was I forget his name, but there was one person I met at Painted Desert for a con this year who has gone to a few cons and was like, "Hey," and I saw him kind of. I was actually out of suit, just watching the door while I was staffing and checking badges, and he seemed just kind of shy and quiet and just kind of seeing what's going on. And I just kind of said hi to him, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And we got talking, and he's been to a few cons, just always kind of shy to get photos with fursuiters. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Winza. She has her TikTok going that's really beautiful. How she has everything done and makes beautiful suits. Like she's one of my favorite makers. And so I introduced him to Winza, and she was super nice. Said hi, everything. He got a photo with her, and but at the end of the con on Sunday, he ended up running up to me and being like, "Hey, thank you so much. I ended up getting photos with a few other fursuiters," and showed me the photos of the fursuiters, and that point really made me smile, getting to see someone run up and just be so happy that they're able to get photos with fursuiters they've really wanted to get photos with.
Hmm. So, would you say that not only are these characters help us express ourselves, but they also help to push others to better themselves because it helps them get more out of their comfort zone. Those who always felt chained by the society's normal standards, it kind of opens up some new doors and helps us kind of branch out, and we're able to find that special place that we fit in this world a little better, and then it just kind of, I'm losing my train of thought here, but
No,
hopefully it
yeah,
makes sense.
I think you're. Oh, it makes at least to me it makes crystal clear sense. I really like that because I totally agree with that. It's I mean for me I used to be really just shy and kind of quiet and off to the side, and the more I ended up uh, getting to see giant fluffy animals and give them hugs and really just have them embrace me, that really kind of helped boost my confidence up. And I think for a lot of people too who maybe aren't aren't
Hmm. Exactly.
fluffy animal versus a human sometimes, just in the flesh. And it's something that I, I think everybody can learn from is just interacting and slowly starting to build it and accomplish little tiny social goals. Like if you're shy to grab a hug from a fursuiter or try to grab a hug from a friend or try to just end up getting a photo with them. Um, I think that's something we can learn and progress of how to do it, and it's a lot more comfortable when you're in fursuit. And now I'm losing my train of thought. I think it's contagious.
No, no,
But yeah,
it's 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 simple and it's complicated at the same time.
it really is. Everything on paper is simple.
Does that include calculus?
No.
Depends which calculus.
Calc
No,
1 wasn't bad.
calculus makes more sense off paper.
What did you say,
If
Morgan?
that makes any sense.
I said Calc 1 wasn't too bad. And yeah, that makes sense.
I agree with that, Morgan.
Well, is there any other questions that anyone would like to ask?
No,
Nope.
What is the
All
meaning of
right.
life?
42.
Yep, yep. 42.
I want
That's
someone to I want someone to give me a more creative answer than 42. That's the only answer I get now, and it makes me cry.
uh,
Doesn't have to be
food.
today. I just mean in general. Food. I'm okay with that.
Food is
I'm about to
life.
cook some burgers, so I'm happy with this.
Food is the great communicator, I would say. Food is the best way to bond with someone, it's the best way to communicate with someone, it's the best way to learn about someone. It's international. We
It
all know
really
how
is.
good food is. Can't go wrong with food.
Yes. Food is life.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Would you say you are a taco, pizza, or sushi dragon?
Pizza.
Sushi. Sushi. Sushi.
Really?
Sushi isn't great.
But I'm not like your normal everyday just sushi. I'm like your fancy sushi. You go to a nice sushi restaurant and you have this like wonderful sauce that the chef created with like the nice fatty part of the tuna and on like with like some beautifully steamed rice and some nice dried seaweed. That's what I am. And some
Ooh.
fresh wasabi.
Can't go wrong with pizza though.
And pizza's good. Pizza
Pizza's
rolls.
amazing. Deep dish pizza. Well, not deep dish. Pan pizza.
Oh, now you're after my heart.
Thick crust is better than anything else. If you're getting a pizza, don't bother getting anything other than thick crust. With lots of
Deep
meat on
dish.
it.
I think deep dish had got to be the best.
Yeah, but deep dish is more of a pie than an actual pizza, isn't it?
That's why pizza is pie. Pizza pie.
Yeah, I don't. I hate it when people say that. It's because it's. I mean, it's not. I mean, is does deep dish use puff pastry or just regular bread pastry or bread dough or pizza dough,
Pie dough.
pie dough? So that it's a pie. It's not a pizza. Pizza is made
The
with bread dough. If
But
it's
pizza.
deep dish pizza isn't pizza. It's just a pie with sauce and oregano in it.
Yeah, but you could have pie crust. You can have like different kinds of pie crust.
That sounds awful. Pie crust and feel flaky and dry.
Yeah, but there's different kinds of pie crust.
There's no good pie crust.
How
It has,
dare.
it has to be extra thick bread crust.
Extra thick. I am extra thick.
There's a better question though. Are you a Domino's or are you a Pizza Hut dragon?
Don't kill me, Domino's.
Domino's has better snacks and sides than Pizza Hut.
They do. That's why I prefer Domino's. Their lava
Like the
cake is.
the lava cakes are amazing.
They are.
They
They're
do
my like
they kind of make you
secret.
feel sick though,
Yeah.
but they're very good. And the
Yeah.
and the cookies and the chicken bites.
The mozzarella sticks, though. Man, you guys making me hungry now.
I'm gonna go get pizza. I'm hungry. I'm getting a pizza, well, an oven pizza,
That's gonna be kind of hard, isn't it?
a
Aren't
frozen
most
pizza.
restaurants? Oh.
They're not awful. And I have some roast chicken in the fridge.
Ooh.
I'm gonna grab some burgers. I'm gonna make some bison burgers. I made the patties with some hot sauce, some local hot sauce, salt, pepper, an egg.
Never had
I'm
bison.
gonna throw them on the grill.
I've had venison. Venison's amazing.
Bison's
Venison's
awesome.
good if it's fresh. Otherwise, it's super gamey.
Well, I mean, you can't really have you can't have venison anything other than fresh, can you? It's not really worth
Depends.
having game meat not
No,
fresh.
it's really not.
But I mean,
I concur with that.
venison, yes, is better fresh. Boar, maybe. I've never had boar. Boar is really tough though. I've heard.
I think everything is just better fresh.
Yeah, everything's better fresh, but some meats do keep for a decent amount of time.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that fresh thing. You know, after you've gotten that fresh pizza, you let it sit in the fridge all night, and then you just have yourself a nice cold slice of pizza for breakfast. It really hits the spot.
I mean, you could say that, but then you could easily just put it in the oven and make it warm again, and not the microwave. Put it in the oven. Everyone puts it in the microwave.
I've never understood microwaving pizza or having it cold. It just feels so much better warm.
I know. I'm
I
gonna have a
guess
pizza. I'm so hungry.
I think we'll go ahead and wrap up here.
Never had tacos though.
Never had a taco?
I've never had tacos.
Oh my god. Come over to America and I'll make you tacos.
It's gonna be a bit hard now, isn't it?
Just a little bit.
That's not gonna be very easy. Although
No.
at some point I do. There are a bunch of places I've been meaning to visit. One of them is Colorado. Colorado is an amazing, beautiful place. The other is Alaska.
Colorado is absolutely beautiful.
And I
That's where
kind of
I
want to smoke weed too.
reside. I lived up in Steamboat for a little bit. We actually went back home. Because thing,
Where'd
but
you
we
say you
ended-
live? Sorry, you
Uh,
kind of just
Sorry, I used to live in Steamboat, Colorado, which is in the
steamboat.
heart. Yeah, it's in the heart of the mountains. And
Whereabouts
it's a
is that kind of more north or?
It's western Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, in the heart of the Rocky Mountains, and it's a beautiful place. But everybody got laid off in Steamboat that works for the resort because of the coronavirus, and they shut down the resort. They're like, you guys can just go home. So now I'm home now, but pretty much
Oh.
you'll have when you work for the mountain, you'll have guys be like, hey, you got something for me on the side, and you'll be out back of the restaurant. It's a cool small town there. Everyone knows everybody.
How close are you to the Rockies?
That is in the heart of the Rockies,
Just like right there.
just right there in, and I'm probably like an hour drive from the Rockies, if not like 30 minutes. I
So
think
you can
it's,
obviously see them.
Oh yeah, we have this thing called the Mountain West,
Damn.
and if we go to any other state, we're very confused because the mountains are not directly to the west, so we have no idea where west is.
Okay.
Our driving directions are towards the mountains and away from the mountains.
Dang. Good landmark.
Oh yeah.
Can't miss it.
I also wanted to go to not Boulder City, Salt Lake City in Utah in winter. I've heard that place is really beautiful in winter.
Oh, it's got to be gorgeous in winter.
Everywhere is.
Well, I mean, I don't think Texas is very good in winter.
Texas is livable in winter. Don't visit Texas in the summer.
Don't ever go to Texas. Well, actually, I've heard you should go to Texas if you want good food, because Texas is probably the best place in America to get food.
No.
Well, barbecue.
Barbecue. Barbecue, yes.
And Mexico. And Korea.
New Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah. Korean barbecue. I've heard people have Korean barbecue a lot.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you
I'm
guys
Nova.
for having me.
I'm too hungry.
Man,
How long have we been
just
going
turned
for?
into a conversation for food.
Directly an hour, actually.
Yep. Yep. We
Yeah,
landed
60 minutes
right on the
dead.
hour.
Probably should. Yep.
Well, the stream is 1 part interview, 1 part food.
Not a terrible
yeah.
thing.
I'm okay with this.
Hey, I'm not complaining.
No issues from me.
Well, thank you guys
Aside-
so much for having me on this stream. This has been fun.
No
Yeah, glad
problem.
to have you.
Yep.
I've
We
enjoyed
appreciate
it.
you joining us.
Of course, anytime.
This has been a wonderful evening. That was Dribi the Dragon. We thank them and for you for joining us here on Suiting Up for Life. We hope to see you here next time, here on the Omega Republic. Have a good night, everybody.
Are we done?